Hello, everyone, and welcome to Telling Tales, where we tell atmospheric stories through the media of tabletop role-playing games. You're about to watch the first episode of a pre-recorded series that we're still recording, called Beat to Quarters. It's a role-playing game that's developed by Neil Gow of Omnihedron Games, who's also working on an update to the sister system for this, set with the British Army, called Duty and Honour. Normally, we stream live on the channel on Mondays at 8 p.m. UK time for our Masks of Narflatep game. But as we said, this one is going to be pre-recorded and will air when you're seeing it. And in the description of this video, you can see links to our Discord, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, all of that good stuff. And follow us there or join the community who are chatting about maybe this game. So, the series will be following the sailors of the HMS Gannet, a ship in the British squadron that's blockading the ports of revolutionary France in about the year 1801, 1802. We're going to have about 20 episodes or so, and I hope they're good, and I hope you enjoy them. So, let's bring on Sam's character, Domhnall Murray, and introduce the first of our players. So, Sam, you're one of the Jolly Jack Tars who's present on this ship of the line. Or actually, it's a sloop.
Definitely not a ship of the line. I was on
not
a ship of the line,
but yeah. Okay, so tell us a bit about Murray and who he is on ship.
Alright, so Mr. Murray, he's an experienced, crusty old sea dog is how he would be described. So he's an able seaman. He's been in His Majesty's Navy, I think, for about maybe nearly 15 years now. Maybe even over 15 years now. Probably about over 15 years now. So he's definitely had a fair amount of experience in his time. He's been on at least 3 ships. He's a scruffy, rough Scotsman. He's always unkempt. He's quite squat, short, and broad-shouldered. He's kind of wild grey, long, wispy hair that's kind of already he's half balding, and he's got a kind of ginger greying beard. He looks probably 50, maybe even over, even though he's only 36, with kind of very wrinkled tan skin. He's a topman, so you'd always find him up in the rigging, which I think is kind of a young man's game. But he's always just it's where he likes to be, the wind in his what remains of his hair and such. So
yeah, you can't be a top man forever, but at least some more years still. Right. Why don't we bring on John's character, Mr. Barber? We have a lot of interesting normative determinism, I think, with some of these names. John, why don't you tell us a little bit about Mr. Barber?
Well, it is a family trade, as Thomas comes from a long line of surgeon barbers and has somewhat, not exactly spurned that, but moved on to doing that at sea. He's quite young-ish. He is very tall, very big, very big hands. I don't know where I was going with that, but very good at serving as an impromptu tourniquet in a pinch. He's got brown hair, grey eyes, and a man of relatively few words.
Well, we'll leave it there then. if he's a man of few words. Where do we find Barber most days?
Most days he still does most of his duties in the sick bay. Med bay. Sick bay. I get it mixed up with Star Trek, but I think the correct term is sick bay.
And there where he assists the surgeon.
Yes.
Cool. Right. So why don't we bring on someone else? Let's bring on Steve. Steve, why don't we bring on Steve? Excellent. Steve's playing Paul Butcher. So
yes.
Paul, what's Paul up to?
I'm not really sure you should be asking. Paul doesn't really talk much about his past or his life on shore. He does cut an imposing figure. He's another one of the PCs who seem to be surprisingly strong, but he is still quick on his feet. Yeah, he's diligent. He's committed to his work, but he doesn't smile too much. And I've got in my notes here his stature and countenance, coupled with the occasional whisper of what might have prompted him to join the Gannet, mean most people don't risk causing a confrontation with him.
And where do we find Mr. Butcher most days?
Most days, probably in the galley, preparing meals for the officers of the ship, or being in the right place at the right time, and essentially tending to their requirements, hopefully before they know they have them.
All of the duties of the ship's steward.
Indeed.
Right. Yeah. And how about we bring on other Sam's character? I don't know the last time we had both Sams together on a.
I'm not sure it's
Telling Tales
allowed.
game. I'm not sure either. But let's bring on Shabadoo. And Sam, you're playing Charlie Fisher, who is one of the ship's, I guess, corporal marines. So what brought him on board?
Well, Charlie Fisher, he started this war, which is by now has been quite a long war in the army, a sort of whole different branch of the armed forces, but that didn't go. I mean, it didn't go terribly, but it didn't go too well for him. I see Steve saying that I started a war. Perhaps, who knows? So at some point during this war, he's transferred across to the Marines as part of the Royal Navy, doing better than the army at this
It's
stage.
jump shipped figuratively then.
Yeah, figuratively and literally, and is now part of the Marines on board the Gannet. Kind of a bit of a police force / like small infantry force on board the ship for when it's needed, doing a bit of guard duty and that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's all kinds of jobs, and we'll get to see some of them later. And finally, let's bring on our
Sorry,
we have a question before
Justin.
we bring on our
Just
final
digress,
player.
we're quite a small ship. I kind of had an image that we wouldn't have very many Marines at all on board, because it's like we're not like a big ship that would expect to be boarding or something like that, are we? So how many Marines
Okay,
would
well,
there be ish?
That's a really good question, and I have the answer at my fingertips. Unlike certain GMs, Johnny, who doesn't know every single thing that's happening every moment of the day. On where did I put that figure? on everything. The ship's complement would be 1 second lieutenant of Marines, 1 sergeant of Marines, 1 corporal of Marines, and 25 Marine privates. Or private
It's a reasonable
men.
number then. Still,
it is a reasonable number. It's not a small complement. That's because the Marines are needed both to keep order on ship and to protect the ship, because we are at war. So we do need some people who can shoot guns with some degree of regimentation, even if not accuracy. Accuracy might be too much, but regimentation is certainly what's needed to bulk the enemy who might be trying to board or attack us while we're resupplying or doing bits and bobs. So Sam's character's Charlie's going to be looking after all of you with watchful eyes, both keeping you safe from others and yourselves.
lovely,
but not safe from him,
and also,
because yeah.
lovely,
Sorry,
I
yes.
also commend the closeness of fingertips that information was. That was minimal stalling.
Yes,
there.
minimal stalling. And finally, our final player joining us is a new player to Telling Tales, but one that we've been playing with for some time off screen, and that is Elliot. Hello, Elliot. You're playing the only commissioned officer on board. The commissioned officers being the gentlemen who are in charge of managing boats and ships of the line, and etc. 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 So why don't you tell us a little bit about Mr. Gibson?
Well, I haven't exactly earned my commission yet.
That's true.
I
That's
am
true.
still a midshipman, one of the young gentlemen, officers in training on board this ship. I'm a young lad, look to be maybe in my late teens at a push. I've been at sea for about 4 years, still learning the ropes. I'm a son of a noble, an earl from the north of England, a Lord Gibson. And as such, I could probably have been bought a commission, a rather lofty position in the army, but it's more fun out at sea, more to do, more to learn. So here I am.
It's very
most
much in
days-
fashion at the moment.
Most days you will find me following people around trying to learn their jobs so that I can have the slightest clue what's going on, especially Mr. Murray over here.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm sure he's got plenty of knowledge. Well, okay. So these are our crew and aboard the HMS Gannet under the command of Captain Breo, or Captain Bryant, as the anglicised version of his Guernsey name is. And so the HMS Gannet's a small sloop of war. And in November of 1801, we find the Gannet floating somewhere in the Bay of Biscay. For several weeks, you have been beating up and down the bay as the winter winds start to worsen. You and a ship where this is quite a lonely job. You're quite far from the Western Squadron, who mostly sit around the port in Brest, some way up north up the coast. But you know that out here somewhere is a smaller ship, the HMS Peterel. That's the bird petrel, it's not the HMS Diesel here, guys. So the HMS Peterel, which is also out there beating up and down the coast. Why you're beating up and down the coast, only the captain and maybe the lieutenants know, but it seems like you're searching for something. And as you're there on this small ship, and let's go first to Mr. Murray, who is sitting up on somewhere on one of the top masts, staring out to sea as the boat rocks from side to side. Often you find yourself dangling over the open sea itself as the mast takes you completely over the deck and back. What kinds of things might Mr. Murray be doing?
Probably swearing to himself a lot. The wind reminds him of back up north and back home at Barra. I think practically and usefully, he's probably ordering his two ratings, Joseph Clyde and Nathan Wells, around a bit to make sure that the rigging is correctly ordered for the winds, and if this still needs to be taken down or adjusted according to how the winds are blowing. I'm presuming it's a relatively easy sailing at the moment, or is it really bad?
You've definitely been in worse storms over the years, but this is you can feel that a bigger storm is brewing and it's going to be a stormy winter, you think.
Okay. Are we what speed are we sailing? Are we like full mast, or are we just half?
No, we're sailing under, I would guess, a single course, the main course,
okay.
With reef topsails, and Mr. Gibson, you are also up on, we can say, the same masthead, perhaps in one of the, up maybe in one of the, right on the top mast. Your job right now is to do some of the sail work, but also to keep an eye out for anything that you might see on the horizon.
So I think I'm ordering the other two around, but occasionally I'm yelling up, "Oh, Mr. Gibson, sir, it's the one on your left. No, on the left, sir."
Oh, thank you, Murray.
Can I get? Let's start off with our first test. So I'm going to be asking for an awareness test to spot something on the horizon. And so I'm going to be. We do tests in beach quarters with cards. I have this nice bicycle set of nautical themed cards, and I will be drawing the card of fate, which is the target number that you guys have to get, and then each of you will assemble your card pool using your skills to make this test. So let me know how many cards you're going to be drawing for this test and how you're going to put that card pool together.
Is this both me and Elliot?
Both of you can make it. Yeah.
So I
there could be a shilling in it for the person who sees the whatever we're trying to see. So it's serious business.
I have 3 in awareness, and I have +1 when using a spyglass. I don't know if I would. This seems like a rational spyglass circumstance. Maybe I'm just keeping an eye out rather than looking at the specific.
I think you probably would just be keeping an eye out, given it's quite windy weather. Okay. You're not sitting there sitting out with your spyglass. But Mr. Gibson might have a spyglass.
So
Probably not. Not on him.
To go over the rolls, so I have a 3 in awareness, which
Yep.
is a stat that I would be using. What other things do I build this roll?
If you had any traits that like
Oh.
that, if you had been using that spyglass, you'd add a card for that. And if this
Yep.
was some kind of test in which a reputation might matter, then you could also add those reputations if you want to. But it sounds like you'll be drawing 3 cards.
Yeah, I don't think I wrote anything else that seems immediately relevant. So 3 cards.
And Mr. Gibson?
I have 1 in awareness.
Excellent.
1 single solitary card.
Could I swing Top Man as giving me a benefit because it's +1 card pool test requiring balance or climbing? Well, I'm currently balancing and climbing while looking around.
I'm going to go with no, but I think I encourage you to keep trying with that in the future. Right. The card of fate is the 6 of diamonds. So you'll draw your number of cards and tell me if you manage to get a match of either diamonds or a 6.
Right.
2 diamonds, 2 standard successes. And what does Mr. Gibson get? Does he draw the 6 of diamonds?
I got the King of
King
Clubs.
of Clubs, not today. So because the players have different decks of cards, it's possible for the players to get a perfect success when they draw the same card that I've drawn, in which case they get some great success. But 2 standard successes, I think that's enough for Mr. Murray to catch a sail on the horizon some way off. And with 2 successes, I'm happy for you to say that you think it's quite likely to be the Peterel. You've seen that silhouette many times before, and you probably would give I don't know if you know it, but would you know what you might call out in this situation?
Not exactly, no.
We might say sail ho, might we?
Sail ho. Oh yeah. Okay, I will proceed to yell sail ho just at the deck in general.
And we might say
point.
deck there, which would be how you address the deck below you, and then inform them of what you've seen.
Okay, I like that. So deck there, sail ho, and I'll point. What would I say for a friendly ship?
You might just tell them that you think it's the Peterel. You think it's
Cool, yeah.
or you might
yell
describe
that
the as we might say in birding terms, the jism of the ship, which is the general silhouette. But not everyone is a birder, so maybe that term is falling out of favour. So yes, but yeah, that's probably how you would do it.
Okay, I will also yell maybe the Peterel. Matches the Peterel's shape, I'll say that.
Sure. Let's cut to Mr. Barber, Mr. Butcher, who find themselves in the officers' wardroom, where neither of them are natural denizens of the wardroom, which is reserved for the 2 lieutenants of the ship and the ship's master. But both of you have business here generally. Mr. Butcher has all kinds of things to do, where he might prepare meals or keep clothes clean or tidy or see to other various things to do in this part of the ship. And Mr. Barber, you're there to deliver a poultice to our French first lieutenant, Mr. Bull, who is some kind of refugee from the French Revolution who has taken his place up on the ship. And you would hear from aloft the cry of sail ho through perhaps one of the companionways which leads up to the top deck. It's been weeks at sea where you've only had each other's company, but now something is happening. I
would probably stay put and see how the officers are reacting.
Right now, there's no one on. The officers there's officers in this room. It's just you and Mr. Butcher here. But you can but you would be aware that in the floor above you, you might hear the steps of the captain pacing around, who's certainly sure to be on deck soon.
Is Mr. Bull to meet me in here?
Let's say yes. Let's say that he it's not his watch, and maybe he has a bedroom, like what do I even call that room? He has a room off the wardroom, which you could maybe knock on and see if he's in there. He might be sleeping or resting or something else. It's the evening, so he may just be doing work or something like that. You can always ask Mr. Butcher where he is, but I don't know if Steve might not know immediately where he is.
Well, I think I will have been making sure the tableware is, in appropriately fine condition.
Do you think that Mr. Barber often comes to the wardroom and to various places helping out the crew? You would know him from your interactions with the surgeon. Do you think you have an idea about what you might think of each other, or whether you know each other very well?
There's a question.
You've been on the same ship for about 6 months or something, so you probably have had plenty of time to form some opinions.
Well, I would imagine that Paul would think that Barber was. So you're the surgeon's mate.
Yes.
Well, have there been any? This is a problem of spinning a world out of pretty much nothing.
Feel free to ask any questions, and I'll.
Have there been any interesting instances where Thomas has had to step up?
Yeah, so the ship's surgeon, do we have his name to hand?
We do, but I can't find the document for it.
I've got it. I've totally got it. It's right here. Yes, Mr. Taylor is an amicable, knowledgeable man, but he is aging. He's definitely aging out of it, and I think that you can see that Mr. Barber has been selected for his competence, surgical skills as a kind of trainee surgeon in waiting. Almost there's lots of things that he needs to learn, but he's often, because Mr. Taylor is a bit slower on his feet, Mr. Barber might be sent to do a lot of things that require a more active role.
You may be aware, if you are in any real communication with the gun deck, that I basically successfully amputated Gunnar Trowbridge's foot. And amputated in such a way that he can effectively wear a prosthetic, which is not a given thing at this point in time. So that may have earned me something of a reputation. I don't know. I think Tom, we're probably, even if we haven't interacted super closely, I think Tom has a fair amount of respect for a man who goes in, does his job, and doesn't bother anyone too much. So I think it's a fairly positive opinion of Mr. Butcher.
While you guys are working on what you feel towards each other, a midshipman, Mr. Benjamin Coles, a kind of child prodigy, teenager upstart, slides almost down the companionway and says, compliments to Mr. Barber, but you're needed in the surgeon needs you in his quarters. And Mr. Butcher, I believe that the Lieutenant, write myself, Lieutenant second name, Mr. O'Sullivan would like to talk to you on deck. He's the second lieutenant, so third in charge of the ship. And we'll cut to Fisher. Fisher, you're probably pacing up and down deck at this stage. You can see there's a flurry of activity as various people are kind of leaning over the side, the kind of the rail of the ship, looking at the sail on the horizon, wondering what it is. And otherwise, various people are slacking generally, but that's not your problem. That's not your problem.
Good. I'm gonna go take my own look at whatever this is that everyone's looking at off into the distance and see what I can see.
Absolutely. You can lean out over the rail, and before long you hear the sound of Mr. Evans, who is your boss, Lieutenant of Marines, call your name from behind as he's kind of wandered up on deck. You hadn't expected to see him today. It's not your watch.
Mr. Evans, sir, there's a ship sighted in the distance. I was just taking a look.
Thank you, Fisher. I've heard about it. Evans is He kind of seems he's relatively okay as a boss, but he can be a bit petty at times. That's probably how you would describe him overall. Is he would be good if he didn't occasionally, for no reason, take some liberties with his responsibilities. And after staring out over the ship's side at the sail that's getting closer and closer now from the deck, you can kind of see the top of the hull of the ship kind of appearing on the horizon, because you can see a bit less down here than you can up on top of the mast. He tells you that he asks you generally if they think it's the Peterel.
I think I had a clue that it was the Peterel, but I mean, that would be my guess, but I couldn't say for sure.
He says that if it is the Peterel, I think that there may be some need to exchange stores. Would you come down to the magazine we'll come down to the magazine once we have word from the ship, and you can already see flags being raised on the up the kind of a rear spar to give signals to the ship on the horizon to pass messages and gather information. He says, and the lieutenant moves off in that direction. Over the course of the next half an hour or so, the Peterel does appear on the horizon and works its way towards you. After Mr. Murray is relieved from his duty on the topmast, because as the person who spotted the sail, he's given a bit of a break, and Mr. Gibson comes down to join the signalling party on the poop deck. There's an exchange of signals, and it's confirmed that it's the Peterel. They pass the private signal, and they signal for a variety of requests for stores. They ask for some gunpowder, some shot, and various other things. They inquire about news, and you're all kind of sent various things to do. Mr. O'Sullivan, one of the lieutenants, tells Butcher that he thinks that there's likely that various members of the crew will be going aboard. The captain wants to dine there tonight, and if you would be so kind as to see if you could acquire any. Let's see what he might want. What luxury might he desire? He wants something. He really. Let me think. Well, let's just say a good old classic. Let's say he would like some spirits. Let me say over some Madeira or something. He says, "Would you, if you'd be so kind as to inquire whether any of the lieutenants on board have, or if the steward, if there are any stores, and he'll gladly purchase them." A kind of very quickly, a kind of party is assembled for going aboard. Sorry about that. And Mr. Murray, you'll be going on it. You've been selected to join them on the boat. Mr. Fisher,
you're getting a break.
Mr. Fisher, you are asked to escort the consignment of ammunition and powder that's going across and make sure they sign for it. The purser, who is an oily, difficult man, has been meticulously explained to you the importance this paperwork gets signed correctly, on strict circumstances.
Okay.
Mr. Gibson, you're informed that you will also be going aboard. There's only some. The ship's really not. The Peterel's even smaller than the Gannet, and there's only space really for some officers to go aboard. And you've never had the chance to go aboard the Peterel before, so you and the captain will both be going to enjoy the captain's table on the Peterel. Finally, Mr. Barber, one of the midshipmen. Again, Mr. Coles, who has been sending messages to everyone, passes his compliments along to the surgeon and requests that somebody inquire whether there are any more materials for Mr. Bull's poultice that that you're running short of, and the surgeon agrees it would be good for you to go aboard and see if you can find any, if you can do any exchange of materials that either they might need, or if we can stock up on our own stores, that would be good. And just like that, all 5 of you find yourselves on tasked with getting ready to go aboard the Peterel.
Hey, Mr. Butcher, did I overhear some of them posh liquors we're going over?
Well, Mr. Murray, I believe it's my task to get some sent the other way, but
Oh, to us, lovely. Not
Well-
that we ever see any like of them, but I don't know, even just a sniff would be gorgeous one day, wouldn't it?
Murray, you think
I bet you
if
get
you're going over, there's a good chance that you'll be able to get something from the other side, especially as the Peterel has a reputation for taking prizes, something that you guys haven't had much chance to do.
Ooh.
You never know what might have made its way from the French ships as the heads of the crew of the Peterel.
100%. This is like I feel like Murray is known for being a drinker quite well, even if you haven't been on the ship that long. So I'm having this conversation with Butcher. I'm just like, I wonder what else we'll be able to scurry away though. Bit more interesting than that typical weak stuff they give us.
Well, it's really not long before everyone catches word that you're going aboard, and the requests start piling in. Can I have some of this? Can you find me some of that? Can you do some of this? Mr. Bull inquires Mr. Butcher to locate at least 20 bottles of claret because he's run out. And Mr. Gibson, your fellow midshipmen ask you to see if you can find any books. They're happy to exchange books with the midshipmen on the Peterel, but they have certain volumes that they're willing to exchange, but they would, which they press into your hands, but say they really would like some more reading material, if at all possible.
I will try and remember that while I'm fishing out my smartest uniform so that I can make a good impression.
Yes, and Butcher's nowhere to help with that, with getting you dressed, because he's got his own task to do. He's got his own things to load onto the boat and all the rest of it. And finally, Mr. Murray. Now, there's many unsavory types on the Gannet, not least some of the player characters. But there is one particular member of the ship, Mr. Luke Crampton, a small wiry topman you're on the main mast, but he's on the mizzen mast, and he is known. He knows everyone's business. He's worked very hard to get almost everyone on ship, or at least all the crew, owing him favors or various small debts. And he finds a quiet moment to idle over to you while the launch is being prepared to get a quiet word. Hello, Mr. Murray. How are you?
Oh, hi, Crampton. What do you want?
Oh, I such a. Why must you assume that there's something
You
going
never talk
on?
to anyone without wanting something. Come on, what is it?
All right. Well, I was wondering if you could find a customer for something that I've got. A valuable item that's worked its way into my hands. It'd be good to find someone to purchase it. I'm happy for you to take a cut, but I expect it to at least fetch 12 shillings, and I want 8. You can have whatever profit you make over that on the top.
Acquired, made its way into your possession, eh? Who'd you steal it from?
I couldn't possibly say. I don't even know where it came from. I just found it.
Fine. Was it an officer?
No.
Okay.
But I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But
can I do something to assess whether I think this is going to get me in serious trouble or not?
yeah, absolutely. You can. So there are various skills, obviously. Let me see if I can find a list of which one might be relevant. But what are you thinking?
I was thinking this feels like a situation. I think I might like to try and intimidate him to telling me where he got it from.
I think that's perfectly reasonable. It will be an opposed test, and I will tell you that boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Mr. Crampton is he's not he's not easy to intimidate. He is quite he's quite tough, So
This might be a
why
bad
don't?
idea then, but I'll go for it.
Well, no, but I think it's perfectly what we have to try, and also you're at the tiny slight advantage because I have to draw all of my cards from the same deck. So
Yeah. I feel is this a situation where I could use a reputation? It feels kind of reputation-y to me.
I think absolutely, yeah. If you have a reputation that you think is relevant, but
mean-
bear in mind that if you lose the role, then your reputation would become injured.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is Gannet gun deck, really, isn't it? 'Cause
Absolutely.
we're both. Yeah, and I'm saying about what he's done on the Gannet as well. So I've +2 in Gannet gun deck, so that gives me 4 in total.
Okay,
my
yeah.
Intimidate. So let's see how this goes.
So you're gonna do 4, and you don't have any traits that you think would be relevant.
Maybe I do actually. I have hard as nails, which is +3 cards will make a guts check. Not really. Crusty old sea dog. No below decks. It's just the gun deck. Handy in a scrap, but that's musket or brawl. Things that maybe sound intimidating, but not actually giving me a direct number.
Okay. In that case,
So I think 4.
4 cards. So the card of fate is going to be the 6 of hearts. What have you got that's close to that?
I have 2 hearts. That's it.
Well, Mr. Murray, goodness me, Mr. Murray, you, Mr. Crampton did not draw any hearts, so or any 6s.
Yeah.
So even though you both had 4, you have 2 successes, and
I'm not looking for every detail of the story. I don't even know
Sure.
if I want to know, but I'm just being
No,
like, how
sensible.
much trouble is this going to get me in if I'm found out? Am I going to be
Crampton
hanging
says
from the bloody?
Crampton says that explains that it belongs to a crewman, although he's a bit loose about who it is. So if as long as you manage to fence it without it causing a big fuss, there's no reason why it would lead back to anyone.
Okay, so what is it?
He produces a small ring that's perhaps silver. So somebody's lost their silver ring and it's found its way into Crampton's hands, and he's asking you to fence it because an item like this, if you sold it to anyone on ship, they would know who owned it. So you can get rid of it on the Peterel.
Okay. So the problem
Look,
is,
if you don't do it, I'm sure Butcher would take it.
I feel like Donald's kind of an honourable guy, though, is the one problem.
I'd only give this offer to
I've
you.
been on
8 shillings.
Wait. I've been on the ship a long while. Do I recognise this ring if someone has worn it? Because a ring like that wouldn't have been a commonplace thing. Or maybe they hadn't worn it, but if I've seen it on someone's finger, I might have noticed it. Is that pushing too much?
I don't think it's pushing too much. Do you want to make a? I mean, I think that I'm happy to make a quick awareness roll.
I might need a good success on this. I fully acknowledge that.
Cool. Can you match the 9 of clubs?
I've got nothing. No number or
no. It doesn't match. It doesn't come to mind.
Yeah. That's tough. It does sound like a nice amount of money, though. I do want some booze.
Maybe Fisher will take it.
Look,
there's someone else.
I'm not that good a guy. I'm not that good a guy. I'm going to take it.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I want 8 shillings back. Good.
8
right.
shillings, fine.
Okay. Yes. Before you know it, all of you are the ship is all kind of ready to go, and various of the idlers who work on ship are working the capstan to lift the ship wholly out onto the out of the mizzen of the boat into the water, swaying it out on a my brain's not even working with the words that are used to things.
Honestly, you could make anything up because I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so. But basic things, blocks, tackles, that kind of thing. They can move anything. Just the fulcrums and levers, etc. And the boat's placed down and brought alongside. Now, All of you are ready to get on the boat, and I would say the only thing I want to know at you this stage is, are you happy to be swayed down into the boat, which is to get into this like a wooden seat with 2 ropes and be lowered down into the boat as if you were some piece of cargo? Or are you happy to make a maritime test to climb down the side of this stormy ship and enter the boat yourselves?
I'm obviously making a maritime test.
Maritime test.
I have to make a maritime test to keep my
Absolutely.
reputation.
I think I would be happy making a maritime test as well.
Okay.
I don't know how the statistics of this system work yet. So
I don't know. I mean, this might be a terrible idea, but I think I'm not going to ask you to do this every time you get on a ship. But I think this sets a tone for what your characters are like, what your characters' reputations are.
Barber is going to wait and see how difficult it is before he makes his mind up.
That's totally fine. The first person to go down will be Murray, as the people who enter the boat enter in kind of reverse seniority order, and Murray is right at the bottom, being a crewman, and not maybe the very first to get on board, but there's not so many people on the boat, not so many sailors, so you'll head down. I'll draw a card of fate, and you can all test against it individually. I don't particularly mind.
But Sam, are you going in cargo as well?
I think I probably will go with the cargo.
You'll get. It's like a little. Basically, it's like a little swing seat that you hold on to, and they just lower you into it. It's perfect. It's perfectly dignified. I mean, admirals sometimes get swayed down when they become corpulent enough that they can't do the rungs themselves.
No, I'm gonna climb down. Probably a bad decision, but still.
Well, what's the worst that could happen, eh?
Okay, I will do it first since I'm first down. I got 5 cards for maritime.
Excellent. You need to get the 8 of diamonds. That is the card of fate. And I will draw a set of cards for the weather.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Amazing. Well, there you go. I embarrass myself.
He's too busy thinking about those shillings he's going to get.
Yeah, I probably am.
Does he drop the ring?
I think
Yeah, it's a silver ring.
Why did you suggest that?
Sorry. This is the sort of thing I'd put in live chat if we were streaming, but now I have to say it here.
Okay. I would say that because there's quite a lot of wind and waves at the moment, if you are not able to get an ordinary success, you do so. You get down into the boat with some lack of dignity. So Murray, you attempt to kind of leap a bit too late, and as you climb down the kind of basically a ladder on the side of the ship, you want to time it so that you kind of, the ship goes down to the level of the boat, and then you step off into the boat, seamless. But you time this a bit wrong, get the height a bit wrong, and you're drenched up to the thighs in seawater as you're dragged underneath temporarily, briefly, and then step into the boat. You were already probably pretty wet, having been on the topmast for so long, but it's definitely not a dignified entry into the boat.
I will. You said it. Well, I wasn't the very first, so I will punch one of the younger lads who's in here just before me, who's laughing at me, presumably.
Yeah, there probably would be some smirks. People, the younger lads, those who are kind of either just seaman or landsman rated, would probably still call you Mr. Murray, but I think that's perfectly reasonable. Yes, right. So, do we think, Mr. Fisher? What are you? How do you fare against an 8 of diamonds?
I did not get anything. I only have 1 card, and it's a 7 of clubs. So,
okay. So as you slip onto the boat, some papers that you were kind of holding on to carry to get signed, that are in these canvas wraps, spill out into the boat and go everywhere. Some of them are kind of like sitting in water. Others are doing other things. This shouldn't be a problem because they're wrapped in canvas. They should be relatively watertight, but you have to kind of scramble to pick them up as you kind of like slosh around the boat. Any comments from Murray?
Yeah, that's all I say. I did it too. He's written it.
I feel less bad because I've seen Murray slightly.
I will
less.
actively help you pick up the paper.
So I think
Thank
it would
you,
probably be
Murray, very kind of you.
Butcher, Barber in either order, and then Gibson last.
Glance at Barber. Do you want to?
You don't have to
Any
test.
inclination to?
Would climbing down be strength related, would you say?
I am going to make a play that Paul Butcher is strong as an ox.
I was
It's
also going to
this
make
is
that
not.
exact
I wouldn't
play.
say it's not strength related. It's probably a bit more dex related, but like that's not really a thing in this. So what's the argument? Have you got a trait that's relating to strength? Do you think?
Well, yeah. So I certainly have strong as an ox as a trait, which is +2 cards of feats of strength or combat tests involving brawling.
Why not?
Cool.
One of
Then
my traits
I-
is climbing, and I didn't use it. I feel like I'm probably would have done better with
This
that.
is like exactly the
Oh.
situation. Oh god.
Anyway,
Okay.
I'll be
Top
happy to
he's like,
climb down,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to go first because if it's reverse reputation order, Mr. Butcher, I am confident in my place in the ship, but Mr. Butcher may be less.
sure. Yeah.
happy about it, so I'm happy
That's
to go
fair
first.
enough.
I did not say this aloud.
No. I think that at some point over the last 6 months you'll have worked out. You'll have done things like this before, where you'll have had to have silently decided what your different levels of seniority are, and by this point, it's probably well established that in these kinds of situations, Butcher has nominally more seniority to you than this. Which is this kind of politic is so common in the Navy that you've worked it all out already.
I've got 3
2
of
diamonds.
and the Queen of Diamonds.
Then you, with alacrity, spring down into the boat and settle yourself happily somewhere in the thwarts. I don't know if the thwarts is the right word there, but I know it's a word that I can throw in. So get me in the comments. Mr. Butcher, finally.
Right.
Well, not finally.
So
but second.
I will be drawing 5 cards. What am I aiming for?
The target card is the 8 of diamonds. So any diamonds are good, any 8s are better. The 8 of diamonds is brilliant.
I've got 2 diamonds, Queen and 7.
That is again great. Mostly through maybe you can describe it yourself if you want to. How your strength helps you get onto this boat.
Well, I'm certainly not letting go. I will have a firm grip of the ladder or the rope or whatever. So it might not be as sort of dexterous as some, but yes, Paul will climb down and plant himself in the boat. And it will probably... How big is this boat?
I would say we've had to have quite a lot on this boat. So I'd say we're on probably something approaching 30-foot barge. So coming up to 10 meters long.
Right. It's probably
so
not going to
it's quite
sort
big.
of rock too much then.
No, but I think that there was probably as you kind of maybe one step held the boat almost in place, there was a measurable movement of the boat, which is be unusual as you kind of somehow managed to steady the boat and against the ship as you step in. But that's Paul Butcher. He's strong. And finally, Mr. Gibson.
So
As you're about to step off, you hear the call of Captain on deck, and this is a good time to disappear to make sure he doesn't see if you make any mistakes.
I am drawing 2 cards here. A Queen of Spades and a 2 of Clubs.
Well, what does it look
I'm
like?
too preoccupied with not getting the books wet or soiling my new uniform, and I'm not watching where I'm going.
So it's just a kind of slip straight onto your ass kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's
Is it
pretty
possible
wet.
for anyone else to intervene?
If someone wants to intervene, they need to have the maritime skill of at least 1. And I think Butcher would probably he's the last on. He'd probably be the best place to do it. And you could provide a single card.
Single card. Okay.
It's better than it might be the saving grace.
If it's still a fail, does the helper have any negative effect?
There we go.
Ooh.
Well, Steve, Mr. Gibson is slipping precariously. His arm is laden with books during a storm into the boat. What's your intervention?
Now then, Mr. I would refer to him as sir. Is this the?
You could
Mr.
call him
Gibson,
Mr. Gibson. You could call him sir. But I would say that like he's senior to you, but but like if he was an adult, you would still be spending a lot of time with him. You know, cooking, serving meals, serving food. You probably have like you'd have a relatively close relationship. But also, given that he is also a teenager, there's that kind of you might have not a paternal, but vaguely paternalistic feeling towards the younger members of the crew. That's quite common. So it's really up to you how that manifests, or if that manifests. But
Sure.
Some people feel that way.
Well, I think Butcher would, with surprising speed, like step back over as he sees Gibson might be going for a tumble, and say, "Watch your footing, sir. It's a little slippery," and just sort of steady the guy, but in a way that isn't entirely obvious, just a bit of a supporting hand, and saving Gibson from undue embarrassment, I hope.
I think that's reasonable. Yes, the books don't go everywhere, and they get stored away.
That was sufficiently subtle. Was that sufficiently subtle that we didn't even notice? I feel like Donald's just here, like, oh, must be getting old. Watching Gibson successfully get down as well.
I think that it would have looked sufficiently dignified. Yes. Who do you? So you can probably sit 3 or 4 men, on a bench, I guess. Probably Murray, you might be. I think maybe you're at the tiller, and other men that you are kind of like more junior to you are working various like some sails or might have oars out. Probably have a sail out in this weather, and other of you might be maybe Barber and Butcher might gather together as petty officers at one end of the boat. Fisher, you're placed right next to a huge keg of gunpowder that you're safekeeping. This keg is obviously enough to blow the ship sky high, and so it's part of your responsibility to make sure that no one is stupid enough to do anything that might cause a spark near it. You can already see that those who are swaying it onto the boat have left a small, faint trail of now wet gunpowder that has seeped out of some crack in the cask. But it'll be fine.
I'll brush that off.
Sure.
Try and hide any indication that this has been messed up in any way. And I'm looking around for anybody doing anything that might kill us all.
Maybe there are 1 or 2 other Marines who are also with you on this, and seeing you do that, apologize to you. Sorry, Mr. Fisher. We should have noticed that already.
That's all right. Just if you see any wet patches, just brush it off. They won't notice. They'll be all right.
Let's have one of those. Let's have one of those characters be your friend, Mr. Tolk, who is a kind of generally dutiful problem solver who kind of rests, kind of like you can see he leaning with his hands on his knees. He's missing 2 fingers from his left hand from some incident previously in the wars. The captain appears at the top, and there is a piping of even in the storm of ship's whistles as the captain leaves the vessel. He doesn't move down the side of the ship with any particular alacrity, but he doesn't fall or make an ass of himself. He luckily managed to draw at least one diamond in his check. He comes down. The captain, you all know, you don't have that many interactions with him, although he definitely asks for reports from all of you fairly often. He is one Leandra Breo, or Captain Bryant, as that is normally anglicised. You know him to be a merchant son from the Channel Islands, some say Guernsey, and that he is generally has a huge amount of experience on ships. He's often alert, and you know that if there's anything that's wrong, such as a trailing path of powder, that he would be the first to spot it. But he is only, I think, 22, and I think that's what we said. We agreed, yeah, 22, and so he is young to have a command, even of a ship this large. Not exactly one of the largest ships in the Navy, but he seems to be vaguely promising. And he takes his place towards the aft of the ship, of the boat, sorry, and says, "Mr. Murray, would you take us off?"
Right, Captain. And then
Excellent. Great. So the boat beats its way across to the Peterel, which takes at least 40 minutes of sailing and rowing to go the small distance between the two ships. And the process repeats itself in reverse on the other side, with the captain, I think, going aboard first and receiving whistles from the midshipmen and Marines who welcome him at the top, and you all follow afterwards. Probably, Mr. Gibson, you would be kind of close to the captain's side. None of the other lieutenants being here, you are the next most senior person on board. And when you get to the top of the deck, you see various officers, including the captain, who you have heard of, one Captain Austin, who was welcoming the captain on board, and one of the midshipmen of the Peterel, whose I don't have a name for, so we'll call him Mr. Midshipman for now. Comes over to you and says, "Oh, I've heard of you. You're Mr. Gibson, aren't you?"
Yes, I am. Thank you. And you are?
Avery. That's such a horrible thing to do. Avery, Mr. Avery. Yes. I think we've served. I don't think we've ever shared as a command, but I think we've been in the same squadron before, perhaps in the past. If you don't mind, I wouldn't. Would you have you been on the Peterel before?
I have not. No, this is my first time.
Would you like a tour of the ship?
Please, I would be very obliged.
And you're wheeled off just like that. Two young lads disappearing off on this small bark. But the captain is kind of like wheeled away off to the captain's rooms, and the rest of you are kind of left to do various tasks. You may there's Murray. You're kind of vaguely responsible, at least for the materials on the boat, until they're able to get them onto the Peterel. So you probably would start overseeing the loading of the ships, the stores onto the ship. Fisher, you probably would be joining him, and Barbara and Butcher, you may run. You may want to talk to your kind of like counterparts on the ship, or you may do anything else.
I'm presuming, I don't know. Again, this is
no, that's cool.
Would the steward of the Peterel be responsible for looking after our captain whilst he's on board?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. You're kind of like free to. You're a guest on this ship. You don't have any responsibilities here. I mean, conceivably. But I don't even know. You're a guest on the ship. You have no duties here, apart from the ones that you've been tasked by various people to find various things. But otherwise, enjoy the scene. And the same would be true of Barbara, unless there's some kind of medical emergency that appears all of a sudden.
Is Peterel big enough to have a surgeon's mate as well as a surgeon?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. It's a little. It's only. I think it has half the guns of the Gannet. So
Right.
it's really just like a single gun deck, quite small. But it is like it has a reputation for being very effective, and that's why they need powder and shot, is because they take prizes.
That makes sense. In that case, I will go down and introduce myself to the surgeon, and I will inquire for the ingredients that I need and see
Sure.
if they need anything, but also try and get word like how the general health of the ship has been.
Yeah, that's kind of
any
really
sort
good,
of
like that
meeting
kind of thing. Good.
of two ships can be
Yeah.
communicating things that I might need to deal with.
Do you want to make some kind of test for that? I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm either kind of like a bursary test for the stores or a surgeon's profession test for various things. But just generally anything you need to do to kind of get information or knowledge.
I'm going to go for a surgeon's test. Which
Okay, cool.
I draw 3 for.
It's a queen of spades.
Okay. We have 7 of clubs, 8 of hearts, ace of diamonds.
Well, as good as you are, you're only as good as your counterpart, and your counterpart is incompetent. So it is a good time to bring in personal missions. So all the players have various personal missions which they are working on at any time. So there's a general mission for the whole ship, but otherwise players have decided the kinds of motivations for their character and might need to kind of get better. And in doing so, they can have certain challenges where if they pass a challenge, they get a tick towards their mission progress. And I would encourage all of you to ask, could this test or could this situation be could be a challenge towards my mission? I don't think John would want to do that now, given that he's failed his pass. But that kind of thing is something you should all be doing if I forget to weave in your own personal missions during it. But aside from some small amount of stores which you're able to get, your counterpart hasn't even got a list of things that he might want from the Gannets, despite having had well over, I guess, 2 hours now since he would have had a chance to spot us on the other side. So there's very little you can do, but it also means there's less work for you. So you're generally, it generally sounds like there's been no serious outbreaks on board, at least none that the surgeon of the Peterel has been able to notice.
Okay. Do I think I can swing a look at his record books?
Yes, and they are adequate, but no more than that.
Okay.
This is not unusual, but it is disappointing in a ship
Yeah.
like the Peterel, which otherwise has generally pretty good people on board. Obviously, the surgeon isn't one of them.
Paperwork is
Cool.
usually the most boring part of the job, to be fair, but I think Mr. Taylor is quite stringent about our records being maintained. Has set me up with a false expectation.
Yes, that is certainly the case. Who have we been to? Who haven't we gone to? With Miss Gibson, we've done Barbara, we've done Fisher. You're like the cargo is all kind of swayed on board, and like the hatches are opened up and the kind of casks have dropped right down into the depths of the ship, where they can be stored, and then they can be moved from there to the magazine where the powder is kept. The shot is all in the same way handled, and there are no big disasters. The most dangerous moment is a point where the Murray is standing in the boat below, and the crew of the Peterel are hoisting this large barrel out of the boat, and it dangles for a moment, swaying precariously above Murray's head, threatening to drop, crush him through the bottom of the boat and sink the whole thing. But this being a relatively well-disciplined crew, no accident befalls it. Although a trickle of powder is felt on your hair.
I'm going to have a black streak across the white hair for a while.
your counterpart, who's a coxswain, not coxswain, sorry, a bosun, like a relatively senior crewman, turns to you, Fisher, and asks, any developments on the Gannet? Any news?
We've just been sailing up and down the coast, as far as I can tell. Seeing you guys has been the most interesting thing that's happened to us in a while. What about you? I mean, you need powder and shot. You must have been doing something.
We managed to catch a chasse maree a few weeks ago, and sent it north with a prize crew, so that's good. But the captain wasn't very happy. I think they're looking for something.
Not very happy with a prize.
Him and the lieutenant went on board themselves and searched all through the rooms. There were papers everywhere, but they didn't seem to come away looking any happier.
Right. That might have been what we're up to too, looking for whatever that is.
Perhaps.
Oh.
You got to bark some orders at some crew who are. Is that powder leaving from that barrel?
No. What? What do you mean?
He looks at you with a kind of incredulity and says, "You should notice a thing like that." And
I think that must have happened when it was brought on board. When we put it on our barge, it was perfect. Are you losing our powder?
He says, "We'll make a count." Like if the person sees that, it'll make a count of it. It'll take every grain off.
Look, please do me a favor. Just don't let him see it. I need these papers signed. Our purser will have my head if I don't get these signed.
I think if you take them down to the purser straight away, that's the best bet. If he sees what's going on up here, well, you never know.
All right, I'll head down now. I appreciate it.
Do you know your way?
No.
He laughs and calls over one of the a young landsman who's helping otherwise secure some rigging, and tells him to take you down to see the purser. Cool. Murray, you're able to leave the boat at this point and mingle amongst the crew. There's probably members of the crew here who either were on the Gannet in the past or on ships that you've been on previously. The able crew are happily moved about, and many of those who are not on watch are leaning over the side of the ship to get a view of the Gannet. So you can easily find crewmen.
I think I will immediately find a crewman try and find a crewman I know to ask about. Maybe I've overheard by this point that they had or I've inferred that they had a fight. Given the powder, I'll be like, any prizes? Anything of interest?
Oh yeah, there's all these kinds of stories about chases and the capture of the chasse maree, and there's some kind of tussle where one of the several men basically dogpiled on a French officer who was trying to throw papers overboard, and it's all been it's all been good fun. Is it true that you've got a French officer?
Why, it is. I know. Would you believe? I think he escaped or something.
Wonders never cease.
I know. Keep waiting to see him fly overboard at some point.
Well, he kind of looks around shiftily, make sure no one's misinterpreted that, and said, "I'm sure he's got his uses."
I'm just kidding. He's pretty good, actually.
Well, I mean, when you see the likes of the officers that you get in the Navy, the English officers,
Pretty Frenchman.
Scottish officers aren't so bad, are they, Murray?
Can't remember the last time I saw a Scottish officer.
Right, and Butcher, you've what would you what's the plan?
I would be wanting to start making inquiries. I'd probably like, if the other steward was free, have a quick chat, catch up with some news if there is any. But yeah, start making inquiries as to whether it's possible that I can find these bottles of claret and spirits Was it Madeira specifically that?
Yes. So Mr. Sullivan's asked for Madeira, but you think any spirits will do.
Sure.
Mr. Bull, unsurprisingly, has asked for claret, which is what generally we would call red wine. And otherwise, there's various, there's you've had a range of requests from everyone from midshipmen to even crew have come to you, and most of these you'll ignore. But the more that you can do, the more money there is to be made.
Sure.
So. What I'd say is that if you want, I'm happy to make any roll from haggle or whatever to cover the that portion of acquiring goods, etc. Specifically when it comes to the ship's steward, he is about to cater for not only all of the ship's usual officers, but a couple of other officers and probably yourself who have made it on board for tonight's dinner, which Captain Austin has instructed him personally. He tells you that it really should be something to knock the socks off. So, and given that, whether or not he's going to manage to do that is unclear. So I'd also be fine if you want to lend a hand there. Not that you're required to.
Of offering some assistance, to help sweeten the deal if necessary when it comes to
absolutely
the things that I'm after. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm. Why don't you make some decision about what you would like that to be and what test you'd like to make, and then we can draw some cards.
Well, I think haggle is probably the best.
Mm-hmm.
Because although I have a profession of cook, that's that probably isn't going to help directly, but I do have the gastronome trait, which is +1 to my card pool for any tests involving food and drink.
And this test does involve food and drink, so I'm happy
indeed
for you to add that to your haggle roll.
Right, so that should give me a pool of 4. I'm not going to risk reputations at this point. I haven't really fleshed out my personal mission just yet, beyond the idea that Butcher is trying to make himself essentially sort of indispensable to the Gannet. So basically,
so do you think you would like to make this test part of that challenge? So one of the challenges. So if you're able to secure lots of things that lots of people need, that definitely cements you as somebody who's indispensable.
Yes, that sounds
okay.
Good. Okay, so you've picked your card, I presume.
I've picked the 6 of hearts, and I've drawn 4 cards for the opposing steward's haggle roll.
Right. Well, I need to check me trait. It was +1, wasn't it? Yes, +1. So it's 3 for haggle, +1 from gastronome. I've already forgotten which card was the appropriate one.
6 of hearts.
Nothing.
Well, they also got nothing.
Oh, okay.
So rather than go through the long, complicated process of working out what that is, I think I would rather roll a die. This is how I'm going to settle all ties in the future, because ties, you're supposed to draw entirely new sets of cards. And I'm like, no, that's too much work. Would you like odds or evens?
Evens.
There you go. Neither of you managed to spend much time haggling, but you do spend a lot of time cooking, and the food is measurably improved for it.
I am a good cook.
You are a good cook, and the cook of the stew of the Peterel is fine. And so he's more than happy to help you off once all is said and done. He says after the dinner's been served, I will make sure that he takes a list of all the things that you need and says I'll make sure I can get as many of those as possible. And excellent. I am happy for you to tick that as a pass on your challenge towards becoming indispensable as part of the crew. Right. So finally, I'm going to turn to Mr. Gibson. Mr. Gibson, you've had a great tour of the ship, and I just want to ask if there's anything you want to do before dinner is called. You kind of met the other midshipmen, said hello, and all the rest of it. Anything that you'd be looking to do?
I will have asked if they would like to go through with any exchange of books. We've got a stack of them here
Yes.
that we've all read. If you have any that you need to dispose of, we will gladly take those. But also,
they do have some books, and then they're willing to do a few trades. Some of your colleagues, they look at some of the books and you know, they're not quite our thing. They say, you know, I've read that one, you know, like. But some of the books, there's some trade going on. What was the also?
If I read the signs right, you've seen some action.
Oh yes.
Might I beg of you to tell me any stories of personal heroics or people who've acquitted themselves well in that?
Yeah. They can go on. They can spin a little yarn. They admit that mostly it's been relatively boring. There was a bit of they did fire a few warning shots past the Chasse Maree, but once, you know, given that they had the weather gauge, they felt that the Chasse Maree knew that they really couldn't get away, and that they didn't have much in the way of ability to respond. The story's quite dry overall. You think you might be able to work it up, but with their 3 cards draws and no particular successes, they haven't managed to tell us in a particularly exciting way just yet. They say that the captain though was well, you know, acquitted himself well, and generally they've got lots of positive things to say about Mr. Austin, because he has you know, they've been traveling up from the Med all the way up north, beating about all around basically Spain and Europe, and they've had plenty of luck taking small boats and evading capture or entanglements with larger vessels. So it seems like it's a place of action, and probably a lot more action than you've been seeing on the Gannet. Although you've had a few run-ins in the Gannet, but also it's a bit more exciting because they're a smaller boat, and so the fights are a bit more fair. Well, you're summoned to dinner, and you're all dining in the captor's quarters, where his office is going to be pushed aside. A table has been brought out, and it's probably less fine than the wardroom, where sometimes you get to dine on special occasions in the Gannet, but it's still the nicest place to eat on the Peterel. Now, we are going to do a scene where we're gonna try and earn the captain's favor. So every alternating sessions, we're going to have one of these scenes. So the officers who dine at the captain's table or dine with the lieutenants, which in this case is mostly Mr. Gibson, will have a scene every other session with the captain, where they have to choose a topic of conversation and speak about it and gain the captain's favor, or in this case, the captain of the Peterel. And on the other week, or the other session, we'll be doing a scene on the gun deck that the players who are on the gun deck compete for the attentions of the favor of the crew for that next 2 sessions. And they can then use that favor mechanically to get advantages in future roles. I would say that at this table, we have probably Barber, Butcher, and Gibson all eating, even though they are not necessarily normally wardroom members. They're all welcome to be at the table today, and so that's where we'd be. And so the way this works is that the conversation generally is flowing, wine's flowing. There's the steward brings out some rather impressive piece containing lots of gelatin, probably, which he's assembled earlier, where he set some kind of naval scene out in that, or maybe there's a pie with the British flag on it, or something like that. Something impressive happens. Everyone else is around, and before the food commences, the youngest midshipman takes a stand and toasts the health of the king, and all of you also toast. If you don't toast, then sure, like it'll be a little odd, but probably all of you toast. So does anyone have a topic of conversation they think they would want to sport over the course of the evening that they think they would like to try and test? So the first person to capture the conversation by choosing a skill will be the topic that the test will depend on. So Barber, Butcher, Gibson, any thoughts?
When you say topic, Would you mean like a
So
skill, or
you could talk about the
let's
merits
talk about
of
Napoleon kind of thing?
you could talk about Napoleon and make a kind of arts roll or history roll, or you could talk about the naval medicine and make it a profession surgeon role. You could ask about the finer points of seamanship and make it a you know any you might capture the conversation and go, oh, I remember this story from back then or whatever, or what do you think about this, and then sometimes it will be a captain that posits this, or sometimes it will be a player. If no player's got an idea, I'm happy to suggest one.
I don't imagine Butcher is going to be particularly loquacious.
Putting forward some idea. Otherwise, the topic will turn to literature and good books, and so the test that I will be asking for is a test on I'm pretty sure the arts. So everyone will be testing, including the captain. And if you can beat the captain, then you get his favor. And if you can't beat the captain, then you don't get his favor. You get his ire. So
what you're saying is, for this mechanic, you want a really inept captain.
Yes. But if you can beat the captain, then you can beat the captain. So everyone will be making an arts roll, and I will tell you the card of fate is going to be the 9 of hearts, and the captain has only one card in the arts. He's not necessarily somebody who's a big literature fan. He reads, but does he read with passion? Does he paint? Does he do anything creative whatsoever? No. And I need Mr. Butcher, Mr. Barber, and Mr. Gibson all to make their arts test, and they can tell me if they've got any traits or reputations that will add to this. And I would include
a voluntary thing.
No, everyone, even saying nothing is part of the test, I think. Let me just double check. It's voluntary. If you participate, I suppose I think maybe you don't have to participate if you don't want to. That's totally fine.
Well, I have a passing interest in some of the arts, mostly because I once won a really fancy book while gambling. I don't know if the book is like the item is immediately relevant because I don't have it in front of me.
If all you've got is a hammer, then the world's a nail. So I think that book is your topic of conversation for this whole evening.
What heart was it?
A conversation about literature and
the 9 of hearts.
Mr. Barber just comes in. I once read a book.
In my hand, I have a 4 of hearts, and on the floor that I'm about to pick up is a jack of hearts.
Amazing.
Ooh.
That means the captain's 8 of hearts will not be winning. Mr. Gibson.
I have a Queen of Hearts, a Jack of Spades, a 7 of Clubs, and a Joker.
Well, well.
Oh.
A Joker, you can make it. You can make it the 9 of Hearts, a perfect success if you want.
I would like to make it so.
Oh.
Excellent.
Hang on, which captain are we upstaging here?
You're upstaging. You're not upstaging. You are having an enriching conversation. In this case, I'm testing against our captain, mostly because I haven't rolled for Austin. And I have no intention of. I can roll for Austin if we want. I mean, he only gets 1 success. They both have things to say. But it seems like Mr. Gibson, what is it that you talk about with such fervor during this dinner?
Oh, I'd probably bring it back to the classics, and I would start talking about ancient Greek poetry and things like that. Just really sort of spreading my wings and bringing my education to bear on the topic. I
think everyone is heartened by this and enjoys and is enlightened by the conversation. And with a perfect success, you managed to both be interesting and informative. So the evening goes off relatively well, and as everyone's there's a brief suggestion of cards after dinner, but the captain has to get back. And so as things start closing up, you do find a pat on your shoulder from the captain who that's pretty good from him. And the captain of the Peterel asks that you once everything is cleared away, that you remain behind. He has a little gift for you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll cut to Murray. Murray, You've been on
Yeah.
deck now for probably over an hour, and or you've had a lot of time to sort stuff out and talk to the crew.
So
Where are we?
I think I'm aware that Barber Butcher and Mr. Gibson have all gone in for that meal. I maybe tried to scrounge some food. I think I might have tried to find one of the other crew, or for the sake of PC. I was going to ask how long has Mr. Fisher been on the Gannet, and he's probably like a more.
He's probably one of the newer members.
Okay, but you would drink in the gun decks and such with everyone else. And what measure do I have of Mr. Fisher? Is he the sort of, is he very uptight? I'm not gonna mess with him, or is he the sort of guy who I've seen gambling and you know is a bit more chilled out?
You've definitely seen me gambling a lot.
Okay, cool. in that case, a lot. So that's good news. In that case, I will approach you and say, kind of, you note my air of coming over as kind of conspiratorial, like, oi, Mr. Fisher.
Yes, Mr. Murray.
And I'll show you the silver ring. So, about, have you had many dealings with Mr. Luke Crampton?
I know of him. Some unsavory rumors, I would say, about Mr. Crampton. Not too well liked, from what I understand.
He definitely dislikes all of you.
Yeah. He has a habit of sticking his nose in everyone's business, that big old ugly nose. So he gave me this and asked me to fence it. Means he's nicked it or something from someone. I reckon it's one of the crew. I'm thinking, well, I might be able to make a pretty bit of money off this. Either he's going to end up getting me into trouble because he screwed up, or he's going to end up getting me into trouble because I'm going to be the one who takes the fall for it when someone finds out their stuff got nicked. So I don't think I wants to be doing that, do I?
Well, probably not. But you know what? What would he do if you just return without it? Is he going to report it to anybody? He's stolen that ring.
No, I mean, I don't think he would, but he's expecting money back for it. So if I don't sell this thing, I mean, I am flat broke. I ain't got anything I can give him. So unless I can scrounge something else on this ship, he's going to know I've taken it and not sold it. I mean, don't get me wrong.
But then what's he going to do about it, Mr. Murray? That's
I rate my chances against Crampton, so maybe you're right.
You're a big man, Mr. Murray.
I dropped it on the way over.
Exactly. I think you could take him, and I don't think he's going to be going to the captain about a ring he's stolen. So seems to me like you've got a free ring there.
You know what? You're right. I think I might keep a hold of this for a wee bit longer and see what comes of all this.
I think that's a good plan. A good.
And if all goes south, maybe I can go have a chat with Mr. Gibson or someone. He seems like a I don't want to say easy to manipulate sort. I was trying to think of something more polite there. A soft sort that I could get on side if I found this or I've caught Mr. Crampton stealing this or something.
Absolutely, I'll cover for you. Well, as far as that goes.
Have you seen any good booze on board? I've heard they've had a ship or two they've nicked from. There must be something hanging around.
At this, if you say that, someone will appear over your shoulder and say, "Are you looking to buy some booze?"
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, this is the moment which there are two ships that are trying to get rid of things that they shouldn't have, and especially for profit.
Suddenly, this ring seems much more tradable again. I realize I have 0 wealth.
Well, you've got some wealth now.
You've got a silver ring's worth.
Immediately swayed. What is on offer? I will be nodding and asking what you got. They ask if you'd be interested in. They've got like about a gallon of cider that they've picked up. They picked up from the Chasse Marie. It's mostly not drunk.
So they were like, you know, we could probably, you know, you'd have to find a way of stowing it on board boat, but it's getting to be dark now. It's very dark now. No one would even notice it in the boat. And it probably isn't worth the whole of the ring, but together you might be able to find some.
I've got a frankly terrible idea. Donald
Drink it all.
He doesn't have the means to buy it outright without just trading this ring, but he's going to offer to gamble the ring.
Excellent.
If I win, can I get the ring and the cider? But if I lose, I lose.
Absolutely. There is absolutely. They're very happy to take the bet of. Do a bet. Winner takes all.
This is going to be for my my gamble win in spectacular fashion mission.
And I'd say as well, because well, you know that it's not a fair trade, the ring for this small amount of cider.
Yeah.
There's a few other things that get thrown in, you know, like some other crew come in on this, and there's a bit more alcohol, and there's maybe someone has a really nice piece of erotic scrimshaw that they are willing to put up, but otherwise it's bits and bobs. It's bits and bobs.
I love this. Okay, this is 100% what I'm doing. I'm happy to play in a game. I don't know if me and Fisher could play, or it would just be me.
Oh yeah, you and Fisher can play. Yeah. I'm happy for that.
Yeah. If you want to, Sam.
I'm in 100%.
Okay, cool. I'm not that good at gambling. This is a terrible idea.
I mean, like, I need to work out. Let me just work out how good or bad the other player is at gambling.
I don't.
All right, like the other player. We'll see what happens. It's
the reputation of the Gannet on the line here.
I was going to say,
the reputation of the Gannet on the line.
That could mean they're very good at gambling, or it could mean they're really bad at gambling and have a serious problem.
Yes. Okay. The target card will be the 8 of hearts. I've drawn a lot of hearts today. A lot of hearts. I'll draw their hand. Okay. Right.
Here we go. I'm just going to shuffle a lot.
Should I assist Sam?
I think assist makes most sense.
Okay.
You can either do that by playing alongside, like both.
I think your gambling's higher than mine as well. It should have been the other way around, but
I thought my gambling's 2. I thought it was 3, but
mine's also 2.
Yeah, assisting is probably best. You can either do that by helping him cheat, or you can do that by playing another hand and pooling your resources that way. I don't mind either way.
Help him cheat 100%.
Okay, yeah, sure. That makes the most sense. Okay. Sam, 8 of hearts.
Yeah, I'll draw my normal first, I suppose. Okay, no, there's the second card. I'm shuffling. Come on, 8. I got nothing. You got nothing.
Well, they got nothing too. So rather than me drawing the whole thing, or let's do it this way. Actually, well, let's both draw a card. Let's both draw a card. Well, did you draw an extra card for Sam?
Well, is Sam helping me cheat? No, I didn't.
Yeah, he's assisting. He's assisting you with an extra card.
Okay. One more card.
Are you drawing cards and shuffling in between each card?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't then, but I did just reshuffle, so I should remove those 2. They're just on the bottom.
Well, if you draw the same card, then just
cheating with your shuffling.
Cheating with the shuffling.
Wow.
Just getting into character.
Okay, come on.
Nothing. Okay, then I'm not going to roll to solve ties. Instead, I think we'll just do a simple high card draw. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you beat a 5?
Come on.
9.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, the game goes on much longer than you expect, and you have to and by the time that you've won everything, all you've played for all the chips, you've got the whole thing. You hear the sound of Captain on deck, and you know that you need to scramble to get everything covered. Fisher, did you manage to get those papers signed? No.
I did go down to the. Didn't I go to the purser before?
You did.
I hope I got signed.
Let's say that you managed to. It was a pain in the neck, but you did manage to get everything signed. You think, And some of the ink did smudge, but it was very wet because of it being dropped. Let's hope that the purser doesn't have any problem with accepting this paperwork later on board. Okay. And everyone starts getting back into the boat. You manage to stow everything you need. And last, right before everyone gets on board, people ask, "Where's Mr. Gibson?" And Mr. Gibson, you're down. You're still down in the captain's mess, I guess, and we'll pretend and you basically the captain has made a small gift to you, which I guess you could be examining now or whatever, which is some manuscript of some kind of draft piece of work that you that he said that he's finished reading, and he thinks that maybe you'll be interested in it.
Oh, yes, thank you, Captain Awesome. Greatly interested.
He says that I would love to hear what you think of it. Feel free to either send me a letter when the ships next meet, or yes, that would probably be the best way.
I will, sir. Thank you, sir.
And with that, everyone's rushed into the boat and taken back aboard. Murray, your watch has ended, so you have a few hours of downtime.
Yeah.
And
first of all, did I get a point towards my mission for that?
What was your mission?
Become the best gambler in the Gannet. And I was aiming for
I don't think that this was sufficiently large a challenge. The gambling over half a quart of cider and some erotic scrimshaw wasn't really that. Okay. It's not enough to make your name, and it also didn't happen on the Gannet. So they.
You make a good point there.
But it's a good story nonetheless. Okay, I'm gonna
My first objective was I'm actually curious if I can sell. I don't think I'll be able to, but I'm curious how much I might be able to get for the other sundries that I gambled in shillings. Can I get a few shillings for that, or is it nothing really?
Yeah, I think the game is quite hand wavy about money in particular. I will say that
8 shillings.
I think you can sell some of the stuff definitely. In terms of how it actually mechanically impacts things in terms of wealth, I think that you can.
I'm not interested in having wealth. I want to know if I can get enough shillings to pay off Crampton, so he doesn't think anything. He doesn't know I sold the ring. I probably won't sell the cider though. So,
well, if you won't sell the cider, then I don't think you'll be able to get enough shillings.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have.
Unless you can find the right person who really is into scrimshaw, which there might be somewhere on this ship.
That will be my first attempt.
Okay, I'm gonna fade to black for the rest of this evening. In that, the life goes on, and we don't necessarily need to do anything. But yeah, you've kind of got a feel of the kind of rolling mechanics, I guess, and things like that. And the Peterel disappears up north back to the rest of the squadron, and the Gannet's going to be setting off on its own course, and we'll have at least a few days of not much happening as the storm gathers in intensity. So let me know if are there any things that you think that you'd want to be doing during that time.
I just have my question mark with Crampton to deal with.
Well, he doesn't come to you straight away, mostly because that isn't always a convenient time. But there's definitely looks. There's definitely kind of.
Okay, I will sell the keg of cider after having had one good mug of cider alongside.
Wow, that's real restraint.
To get the 8 shillings to him. I like to have the ring still. It's a real. I have a hooker ring that he doesn't know I have, which is the other way around to what normally happens to Crampton. So I don't tell him anything about what happened.
That's true. I don't think you can get 8 shillings for it, but I think that you can get enough to explain to Crampton the pitiful situation, and he's not happy. He still doesn't like you, but he is at least content with however many shillings you are able to scrape together.
He doesn't suspect I still have the ring, which is what I want out.
No.
Okay, cool. Excellent. I'm happy with this.
So now you have the stolen ring.
I have the stolen ring, and I'm going to see if I can catch Crampton out now. But that's a further down the line plot.
I'm intrigued about this.
I'm not saying it's a good idea necessarily.
How are you going to catch Crampton out?
Good question. Someone hasn't thought that far
I
ahead.
can leave it there.
Well, okay. So life on board continues on for the next few days. The storm is worsening. You're working your usual shifts. You're doing your own things, but you'll have things that you are trying to get done. Various personal missions. Has anyone got anything that they'd like to be doing and work towards in terms of working towards those?
I will be in my downtime reading through Mr. Taylor's store of the pharmacopoeia.
That sounds right to me.
Like the medicinal, the more pharmaceutical apothecary side of stuff, and studying that, because that is where my weakness is.
Fair. I think generally the ship's doctor, the ship's surgeon, is trying to have you work on various medicinal diagnosis, general type things. So there are the usual complaints of aches and pains and chilblains that Miss Taylor either lets you work on your own or supervises you occasionally doing it, most of which is done from his kind of his room where he sees most of his patients, and he in his cabin, or sometimes the dispensary that's next to it. But normally just working out of his cabin when he doesn't need to have a patient that needs long-term care. So it's kind of relatively tight, cramped quarters, but that's that. Anyone else?
I will just have. I will go through the drafts from Captain Austin, and apart from apportioning whatever books I was given out to the rest of the midshipmen, I will, if they ask very, very nicely, I will allow them under my supervision to read through the drafts as well.
Excellent. They would very much enjoy that.
Now that I know of the existence of this ring, I would like to, as subtly as possible, try and figure out, if I can, whose it might be.
Okay, that's reasonable. I think there's definitely some work that can go into doing that. Yeah. Like so you could maybe do a kind of intrigue type test to work that out, or if you have any ideas about who you're going to ask and how you're going to ask it, I think that we might be able to add some additional depth to that.
I will help with a card in this as well, because it's definitely something I'm obviously thinking about.
I think I'd probably start I'd probably ask first people I like, Marines that I think are sort of relatively unside, if they've heard of anyone who's lost a ring, because I've heard that someone has found a ring, but mentioning no names of who might currently be in possession of the ring. I don't know what the best thing to test. Maybe
intrigue would probably be the one you want to test.
Intrigue. I have no intrigue. I have scavenge, skullduggery, but no intrigue.
Intrigue is probably the one you want to test. But if you don't have very good intrigue,
I have one in intrigue.
Murray's got one in intrigue, and other people that you might be able to lean on, who might also be good at intrigue. I couldn't possibly tell you who has the highest intrigue in the game, but I think that you're aware that certain characters know if you can know how to weasel work their way out of a tricky situation, etc. I don't really know. Anyway, those of us looking at the table, it is Gibson who has the highest intrigue.
Okay,
Interesting.
That's Gibson.
I probably would not start by asking Mr. Gibson
No,
about
that's
this.
probably not a good idea.
It might be his ring for a wiener. That would be bad. Okay. With Mr. Murray, Maybe.
So, shall I do if I mean, I don't want to give it too much, but shall I do the draft roll with my 1 intrigue?
Yeah, I think that sounds like the most sensible way. I mean, unfortunately, you can't get any help. Well, to be fair, the game says that if Fisher tries to help you, you lose a card. It's what the mechanic is. So you'd have to be doing it kind of on your own. He suggests it's a good idea.
I like the idea that Fisher's just like loudly talking about how we should probably go down. What about that guy? Frampton, you idiot! Okay. Well, what's my target card?
Is the Ace of Hearts.
That is neither an ace or heart. I have no luck.
Well,
No way.
yes, and unfortunately, the whole thing becomes hidden from you. You don't know whether it's like some of these things you think actually. Not only do you not know what's happened, but you think that Crampton has got to certain people and told them not to talk to you about it. In that some people have expressly clammed up when you've asked about it.
Okay. Dom wasn't like this. He's gonna just stow the ring somewhere safely. Maybe there's a spot on the like a crack in the wood on the deck somewhere that he knows about. He just checks no one's paying attention, hides it in there, and then hopes that a circumstance will come up later that will solve this problem for him.
Nice.
While thinking about what I want to do over the next few days, I also one of my missions is to learn to speak French. So maybe I could spend a bit of time with a French crew member. I don't know if we've got any who isn't like.
The only French crew member that you're aware of is Mr. Bull, and at the moment you don't see it really working. But you know,
I will
some
hold off
of
on
the
that
sailors, some of the sailors have
Maybe
words they say are French, and they're happy to teach you those words.
I will absolutely learn those words.
Excellent.
Do I check or not against it? I don't know. But...
a few days later, we find Mr. Gibson on the poop deck with Mr. Cluett, the very friendly sailing master. Now, Mr. Cluett has a receding hairline. He is generally quite a jolly fellow overall. He is in his late 40s, and generally the whole crew kind of regards him a bit paternalistically. He's a card player. He likes to sketch, and he particularly has a fondness for Butcher, although Mr. Butcher is not in the scene. He has a sly smile, and generally tries to inspire trust in the crew. And he's talking Mr. Gibson and some of the other midshipmen through their navigation and other general sea skills. We have Mr. Coles, and we also have Mr. Rutley, a slightly older Scottish midshipman, acne-scarred, generally quiet and calm, who spends most of his evenings studying in preparation for his lieutenant's exam. Mr. Gibson, where, following this chart, are we, given your calculations? Where have you arrived at? This is very common for you. You're very often presented with a set of charts and readings, and you have to do the maths of working out where exactly you are on the planet. You could be in Australia, you could be in off the Cape of Africa, you could be in the Americas. Time to find out if you've calculated the right place, and I would like a seamanship test off you.
Okay.
Target is the 9 of Hearts.
Seamanship. Does this... Would you say this involves complicated mathematical calculation?
It is the most involved, complicated. That's the best description of what this is.
Then my natural mathematician trait will kick in.
I will say that Coles is positively squirming, wanting to tell his answer of where he thinks that you are, and Rutley has. That has a look of he thinks he might have got it, although he so often doubts himself. It's unsure. But Mr. Cluett is smiling and says, "Mr. Gibson."
Would educated also come into this, gain a card in tests involving the use of academic knowledge?
Yes, I think that's absolutely
Okay.
fine.
In that case, I have a card pool of 5.
Then you're nearly as high a card pool as Mr. Coles.
What am I going for again?
9 of hearts.
9 of hearts. Well, I've got a 6 of hearts. I've got a 9 of. You know what? That doesn't matter because one of them was a joker.
Oh, well, it turns out that where are we? Where is the calculation? Where have we ended up?
I will give them the exact.
Where is it?
Such a show off.
Well, it'd be bad if I said the Caribbean, wouldn't it?
You can say
Whatever
whatever.
it is, manifest.
It's not where we are right now. It's
Oh, it's an exercise. I was gonna- yeah.
to tell us what's the location. Feel free to come up with somewhere that we might be.
Well, somehow, sir, I don't know. I don't understand quite how, but we're in the slap bang in the centre of London.
Yes, we are slap bang in the centre of London. We're in the Chatham Dockyards. Well done, Mr. Gibson. This is some real improvement for you. And I must say, is that the same that we've got elsewhere? Yes, Mr. Cole is correct. And indeed, Mr. Rutley, you have also managed to place us off Kent, but I would consider it close enough, especially showing improvement. And Rutley, seems to kind of relax slightly at this. Now, Mr. Cluett says, Mr. Gibson, would you take a walk with me? We'll show you some observations I have from the taffrail. And he kind of like brings you back towards the edge of the ship and says, now, I must say that was some good calculations there, John. You did a good job.
Thank you, Mr. Cluett.
But there's been some things that you've been doing slightly less well at recently, I have to say, and I think that you could do with a bit of help.
Oh, anything? What is it, sir?
I'd like to say you should spend some time with one of the crew to gain some of the finer points of rope work and other bits. And I see that you probably spend a lot of time up on the mizzen mast. I think someone from there would be good. Would you agree, Mr. Gibson?
I would, sir. Yes.
I think that's an excellent idea. And Mr. Cluett asks the bosun to call someone down from the mast who might make a good choice for this role. And Murray, you are hailed aloft there. Murray, come down.
Yes, sir. And then I mutter to myself, I just came up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you go down the rigging or do you slide down one of the one of the sheets
Absolutely
like the crusty sea dog you are? Yes. Well, then you'll be down on deck in a matter of seconds, and you've got to keep those youngsters in their place. They you can't let them think that they don't know what's going on. And the bosun has a quick word with you where he says, now, Murray, there's an opportunity for you here. The bosun is we love the bosun. We've definitely got the character, Mr. Warren, who is a towering figure, hugely broad shoulders. He can hand reef and steer, and he is easily able to settle any altercation on deck, especially between the landsmen who don't really know anything, kind of get upset over all kinds of things that no sailor would get upset over, with clarity, with the clarity of settle things. And he says that now I don't want you to get too big for yourself, though, Murray. I think that you'll be a good person for it, but you can do that, right?
Aye, sir, of course.
Right.
I'm very happy to show Mr. Gibson here the ropes and all that.
Yes, well, he takes you up to the poop deck, and seeing Mr. Gibson, we have Warren tug his forelock as he salutes the officer and Mr. Cluett, and says, "This is Mr. Murray. He's, I believe, Mr. Gibson knows him, but he's an excellent topman, and he's always very good with showing new seamen the ropes. So I think he'd be a good choice."
You're too kind, sir.
Mr. Cluett looks Murray up and down with a smile and says, "An excellent example of a seaman. I can't see anything wrong with him. Mr. Gibson, if possible, I would like you to spend at least an hour a day with Murray. Whatever he's doing, do that. And Mr. Murray, if you'd be so kind as to take some time out of your day to show Gibson everything you could possibly show him. He's good, but there's just a few things he could get a bit better on."
Right, sir. No problem at all.
Right. Well,
So
that'll be all, and I think that's us done with the lessons today, Mr. Gibson. So you're welcome to spend the rest of your watch with
stuck with me again, Murray.
Aye, Mr. Gibson. You seem to know your way around up there. Head for heights, I'd say. Some of them midshipmen, young ones, when they head up there, that's where I have to dodge the, excuse my words, the vomit all over the sail.
I wouldn't
But
let
you've
you
held your
hear
stomach so
them
far.
talking about that.
I know my last ships. Don't worry, not here.
Well,
So
lead the way. Tell me what to do.
yeah, I'll go to the mizzen mast at the back, and then
what is your seamanship skill, Elliot? What is Gibson's seamanship skill?
3.
3.
It's
And
one off mine.
well, yeah, I mean, so he's well, he's good. He's not bad. But he needs to be officer good. He needs to know.
Yeah.
He knows to know just as much as the men, so that he can make sure they're doing it right. So that's something that he needs to do. And I don't know, Elliot, you might, if you want to, make it a personal mission of yours, to impress Mr. Cluett and gain that point in seamanship through certain challenges. That's not a requirement, but if you would like to take that, that's it's certainly a suggestion that Mr. Cluett has given you. Okay, cool. Otherwise, the storm over the next few days as we move into December starts to worsen, and we soon find ourselves on a ship that's swaying rapidly from side to side as a winter storm sets in. There's barely a day where you're not drenched in rain, and Murray certainly goes to sleep in wet clothes, works in wet clothes, goes back to sleep in wet clothes, and Fisher probably has a similar job.
Mr. Gibson, sir. They sent you up here at the right time of year, didn't they? Yelling through the storm. Hang on there. I don't want to see you falling from the mast.
I've got a good grip, don't you worry. And I've got dry clothes to change into when I'm done.
Don't rub it in now.
Is there anyone working on anything particular on their personal missions during the downtime? I know Barber's reading his books. Gibson's doing a bit of research. We've had some intrigue going on. Steve, do you think is Butcher working on anything in particular?
I mean, I would be making sure to pay close attention to, the officers and the like, to try to ensure that I'm sort of, providing them with the things that they need. Also, keeping an eye out to see if there's anything interesting happening on board.
Yeah. I mean, there certainly is a lot of interesting things happening on board. So the officers that you care for, obviously, are the Captain Bryant, Mr. Bull, the first lieutenant, who is this kind of older French gentleman. It seems like him and the captain have quite a friendly relationship. They seem to be, the first lieutenant seems to be his closest kind of confidant, and it seems that the first lieutenant is trying to maybe help the captain into this new role that he's in, where he's just become the commander of the ship. On the other hand, there's Mr. O'Sullivan, who you're not quite sure what your take is on him. You understand that he kind of recently got promoted, and whenever you seem to have any interactions with him, he's rarely somebody who kind of like hands out unremitting praise. He normally has something to complain about, and you often hear him coming down from the deck complaining about someone else's mistake that's caused some problem. Yes. Otherwise, you'd spend your time in the wardroom, where your storeroom and your cabin is very close to the surgeon's cabin, so you probably you would often see Barber there. And equally, the midshipman's berth is just around the corner, so it's a number of nights you've had to go and knock on the cabin because either Gibson is reading too loud, or someone else is complaining, or they're having some kind of argument or fight. You know, they don't keep it down, those kids. So you and Barbara and Gibson are often in close quarters, and equally you see Fisher quite a lot, because all the Marines rotate through their posts, and one of those posts is posted directly outside the captain's door every hour of the day. And so Fisher probably spends a reasonable amount of time sitting outside that door. So there's quite often times where all of you are in the same, are about together, either because of you're all working. You know, you and Barbara are working in the around the wardroom. Not the wardroom, but the gun, that place, you know, the back of the all-up deck where you guys work, and where Gibson's quarters are. So yeah, then there's quite a lot of intrigue. It seems like, you know, you're not quite sure how you feel about lots of the characters on board. There's not least of all is this doctor, this surgeon, who you're not quite sure what he's doing on ship. This is, you know, he's actually competent, but he's somehow managed to find himself placed upon a tiny sloop, doing a not particularly interesting job, rather than have his skills go somewhere else, which naturally, you know, you have a few thoughts about.
Interesting.
I suppose the only other character that you interact with very regularly, who really, you know, you're sure something is going on with, is the ship's purser, who you've recently seen berating. Let's say one day you're working in your storeroom, and Fisher is being berated about where exactly this piece of paper was that contained the some assignment of stores that made its way onto the Peterel. This Fisher, this is like the third time you've asked the surgeon to the purser to accept your report, and this is the third time that he said, without this piece of paper, he's unable to move forward.
I think Fisher would just be sort of like, okay,
it will come out of your wages unless you can produce this piece, and I'm sure that it will be a permanent stain on any record, and I will be making my report. This is the ship's purser, Mr. Wilds, who everyone says, and they're fairly confident is true, used to be a sweet shop owner, and has more money than the captain, which is saying something. But he isn't a sweet man. He isn't a sweet man.
Sir, I can assure you that you have all the papers that were signed, and no papers are missing. This is everything. Everything you sent with me, I have returned.
No, this is not everything, he says before you've finished, and I've made it very clear to you, without the full records, I will be making my complaints to the captain. And you know, and he has a little door, which is like, it's a kind of barred thing. It has massive gaps in it, but he closes it on you. You can see he's sitting there, you can see him, but he's like, this shop closed, like end of discussion. Yes, and Butcher, you observe this situation.
Is Fisher illiterate, by the way?
Fisher can read. He can.
Okay, no, I was going to say, he doesn't have you on that. It would have been evil. Sorry. No.
That's no excuse not to have records in place. Anyway.
I will give a kind of exasperated look to Butcher, Mr. Butcher.
Justin, do I know about our purser?
Yes.
Do I know why he's refusing? Like, is there any actual, like, actionable correction?
You know that he is. You think that Wilds is, you know, if anyone's got the game sussed of how to make money out of this operation, it's Wilds. Like, you know, he must be raking it in, and the way that he seems to do that is by sticking to the rules and fucking over as many people as possible in doing so. And he will like, he plays very close to the rules, and in doing so, he, it might be he's doing this for leverage, it might be he's doing this because he just he likes it, he enjoys doing this.
Sure.
So he's in a position of a lot of power on the comparatively a lot of power on the ship. He's a real lawyer. But aren't you? But now I think about it, actually,
I think Fisher
Fisher's quite up on the rules.
I do have lower deck lawyer as one of my traits.
I think it's tangentially, but I think it could be applied. But yeah, I mean, you've seen plenty of officers. The only person he doesn't seem to do it with to the same degree as the captain. But
Right.
The most famous story about Wilds is that once he was on deck when one of the seamen was crushed by a loose cannon that came loose. He died in front of him, and he refused to sign the paperwork to acknowledge the death of this person in the muster book until the report had been signed in triplicate and delivered to him. So, yeah.
And do we have anything over Wilds?
Not yet. But you know what? Everyone's got secrets. and to be honest, Butcher, this is not, today it's Fisher, tomorrow it could be you,
Well, indeed. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of whether Butcher would have any actual advice that he could give Fisher that would be useful, short of just, I don't want to come out and intimidate Wilds just yet.
No, I don't think so. I think that.
Unless, so if this is happening near where, again, location.
Yeah.
So is this near?
Yeah. So what I would be saying is this is all happening in. I might maybe be able to. So we're in the all-up deck, which is the deck below the waterline, where behind, and there's a kind of a U-shaped area around the cockpit, which is kind of where the midshipmen eat. Around that are the lieutenant stores, the captain stores, going around from kind of around the U, the surgeon's cabin, the surgeon's dispensary, your room and stores, the purser's cabin, and purser's stores, which is where this conversation is happening, and then finally your sleeping cabin, and then right at the end, the midshipman's berth. So that's as you work around the U. All of these are fairly open environments. Like there's no very few walls in the ship or bulkheads or anything like that have any real degree of sound dampening. So the conversation might as well be happening in the same room that you're in. And that could be either because you're in your cabin or because you're in your own personal storeroom. And it's likely that you'll have like little hatches that you can open when you're kind of doing business, allocating supplies and things. And this is you're kind of probably in your office. And it might well be that Barber is in the dispensary working on something at the same time.
I don't have a particularly strong hand yet, but I'll lock eyes with Fisher and sort of show my shared exasperation, and then just kind of glare at Wilds' general location. I'll cogs are turning, but I need something to work with.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, do you think Barber would be in a situation where he'd see any of this, John, or not?
I think this exact situation probably not, but I think I don't know, if he does this a lot, maybe the sound of Wilds pulling his weight around is a fairly common backdrop to Barber working away.
Absolutely. Right. Well, we get into December. We get into mid-December, and the storm picks up. As we've said, it's been weeks now where you haven't had any days where you've really been dry. Even those of you who spend most of your life below decks, you're often having to extinguish the flames around ship to prevent things coming loose and starting a fire or something. So on the gun deck, where Murray sleeps and where probably Barbara and Butcher, Barbara probably sleeps there. Barbara and Fisher sleep in a kind of canvassed off section for their noting they're slightly higher rank, but the rest of them all kind of hang from hammocks, and the only real light is the stove that kind of like glimmers, the kind of stove fire that glimmers there kind of like all the time, most of the unless you beach quarters where it's that, otherwise it's a dark sealed off area, all the hatches are battened down, it's quite stuffy and very, very damp. And one evening the storm is blowing a gale, and all of a sudden there is a cry of all hands on deck, beat to quarters, and all of you are ushered out. The bosun is going around heaving landsmen out of hammocks who are slow on their feet. And Murray, you all have been one of the first to pack up your things, stow them, and kind of get them out of the way. The rest of you, all of this cry goes through all of the ship, and all of you now need to prepare the ship for action, which will involve securing all objects and probably Butcher. There'll be all kinds of things that you need to secure, stores and captain's items. Many things might even have to be taken down to the hold. You probably would need to have at least some level of managing the moving of the captain's furniture out of his office as the whole thing is stripped bare, so that the cannons can be wheeled out and all that jazz. So, yes. But aside from Gibson and Fisher, who are on deck, anything particular that you guys would be doing?
Do we have any indication of what's going on? I would probably be straight up to try and find out what's going on. So, yeah.
Sure. When you come on deck, the wind almost knocks you down. It's a really bad storm, and it's been getting worse. You can see the captain on the poop deck shouting orders with a megaphone to aloft, and all of those are already carried away from your ears. You can't even hear them. Waves crash over the sides, and you can see landsmen slide off their feet towards the like knocking into the rails of the ship. It's very difficult to kind of get any idea of what's going on at all.
I'm immediately checking out what's going on in the rigging. Has there been any damage? Are we up because there's been some damage to the sail or anything?
There's you can see that a spar has come loose, which is like one of the things that secures the step, but it's not something serious. And you can see that all of the sails of the ship have been reefed. So there's no sail. The ship's carrying no sail at all. It's just trying to survive this storm.
Oh, are we at anchor or are we
no? We're kind of we're trying to kind of like avoid, like we're some miles offshore, but we're not at anchor, mostly because probably the concern would be the cable would part and it would kind of be no use.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I think then probably similar to the others, if there's no obvious danger on the ship, like the rigging's been severely damaged, and that's why we're here. I'm just waiting to see what I'm ordered to do or keep an eye on what's going on.
You very quickly be ordered aloft to help with any of the work that's happening aloft.
Yeah.
Barbara Butcher?
So.
I will be in among, as well as securing anything there, I will be starting to prepare. Well, first I'll make sure Mr. Taylor is up and active.
Yes.
And then I will be preparing whatever room is designated as our sick bay for receiving anyone who is pulled out of the water or knocked down by flying debris or whatever it is.
Yes, no, Mr. Taylor seems like he's he wants to kind of get a handle on things here, but a big wave simply just knocks him to his feet, and he's kind of knocks him off his feet. He's kind of thrown to the side of the room by the force of it, just completely. He's not really. You don't think it's a smart idea for him to be doing a lot of moving around on this weather. He seems to not really be 100% right now.
Okay. In that case, I will secure him as much as I can safely do.
Sure,
preferably in the same room so that he can at least advise if needed. But if it's not safe to get him there, just get him settled wherever he is. And
You
make
could,
sure-
yeah, selling him in his cabin would be a sensible idea, and
Yep.
reassuring him that he's, And then you said you would go and set up a sick bay or something.
Yep, which I
Which
believe
is-
normally first protocol is pouring barrels of sawdust all over the floor, because if it's blood or if it's water, I need something with grip on the floor.
Yes, and as you're heading up to do that, Mr. Rutley, the midshipman, bumps into you and says, "Oh, compliments, Mr. Bard, from the captain. Can you please make sure the sick bay is set up as soon as possible? We're expecting injured."
On it.
Fantastic. And Steve?
Yeah, as soon as I've finished stowing or securing anything appropriate, including the captain stuff, I will, I guess, head up and on deck and see whether anybody needs my help.
I think that probably that's when you kind of get on deck and see the waves crashing over everything and all that, is that kind of like, oh, should I be here, or kind of like what would you think that you would, because definitely the lieutenant captain might need you, but it's you can see it's a really, really dangerous environment to be in.
I think I would still want to be, to make myself available to if the captain needs something or whatever. I've got 3 in maritime, so I can kind of
absolutely. I think that's good. Okay then, and Mr. Gibson, Mr. Fisher, both of you are peering over the rail of the ship, where ahead of you in the moonlight you can see a truly terrible sight. A large frigate, a small frigate, a ship larger than you, has come under a terrible situation in the storm. All 3 of its masts have been dismasted and dragged behind the ship, pulling it over almost into the sea. You can see the shapes of small figures hacking at the ropes of this mast, as trying to peel the mast away so that the ship can come free and maybe survive. But they just, otherwise, there are seamen in the water, and there's a commotion on deck. Overall, the whole thing is rocking awfully, and the place is in some danger. And where we'll leave things is that this, Mr. Bull, the lieutenant who's standing beside you, says, "We've got her." Right, thanks everyone for playing Beach Quarters, and I hope that was an enjoyable session. I hope that everyone who's been watching has enjoyed watching this recorded session, and hopefully we'll get in any comments or chats that you might have been going on to see how you enjoyed it. Otherwise, thanks for watching Telling Tales. Please feel free to catch up on our other streams or other videos on our YouTube or Twitch. And normally we stream on Mondays on our Call of Cthulhu game, but you can obviously catch us on whatever night that we've decided to show this, and hopefully some more episodes will be coming out soon. We can't answer any questions this time, but do please leave them, and otherwise we will see you next week.